2, 1, 0. We have liftoff of Falcon 9. Falcon 9 has cleared the tower.
This is Michael Hammersley, materials engineer, and I'm going to talk you through some of what you're seeing and hearing as the vehicle continues to ascend. You can tell that we've had a successful liftoff initially. The Falcon 9 has cleared the towers, and it is rapidly approaching what's called maximum aerodynamic pressure. This is known as max Q. It's when the rocket is pushing hardest against the atmosphere.
Speed 550 meters per second, downrange distance 2.3 kilometers.
For this. You can see the engine plume.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
The engine plume widening as the rocket is increasing in altitude and there's less pressure.
Telemetry power still look healthy. MVAC has begun chill.
MVAC chill means that the second stage engine is preparing itself to ignite. Shortly after main engine cutoff, we're going to separate the stages and begin the second stage ignition.
T plus 2 minutes. Speed 1.2 kilometers per second. Downrange distance 11 kilometers.
Main engine cutoff approaching shortly.
Returning to land as the second stage powers the Orbcomm satellites to low Earth orbit.
Stage 1 is on its flip.
The fairings have successfully deployed. You can hear everyone is phenomenally excited here. The Merlin vacuum engine is burning bright as it's moving up to speeds approaching 8 kilometers per second. The first stage will soon begin its series of 3 burns to head back towards Cape Canaveral. First, it will reorient itself. It will reorient itself using cold gas thrusters. It will perform 3 more burns as it approaches landing zone 1.
Stage 1 boost back is starting.
The boost back is the primary burn that will get the vehicle moving more slowly
propulsion is nominal.
and heading back to Cape Canaveral.
Hampshire acquisition of signal.
Man, that is awesome. We are well on our way to taking Orbcomm to orbit, and that boost back burn, that's the first step of a really Intense process to get that stage one back on land, man.
Yeah, like so many things just happened. My heart beat twice. Two beats since we were on last, first of all. Secondly, there were so many important things. There was first the takeoff, the immediate takeoff, which is just a huge relief. Then there's max Q, and you have the maximum pressure. Past that, huge relief. Then the stage separation, and everyone here went nuts. People here were going crazy. And then the boost back. So everything is so far looking great, right?
So far, so good. Yeah, that boost back burn is going to go on for about 30 seconds, and then it's going to cut off. We're going to flip the stage back around, and as we enter that atmosphere, those grid fins are going to pop out and start the guidance in through the atmosphere.
And so we're about 4 minutes away from when it would touch down, right?
Exactly, yes, about 4 minutes away.
Everyone's really excited.
There's a lot
here.
of energy.
It's awesome.
A lot of
so much
energy.
energy. So much energy. Yeah, that boost back burn is really important because it reorients us back down to the launch site, back down to landing zone 1, as opposed to normally after the first stage separates from a rocket, after the second stage separates from a rocket, that first stage will continue on a sort of ballistic trajectory and crash into the ocean, but we are coming back to land.
One of the things I think that is another thing that just not that intuitive is what an orbit is. And so right now, the
second stage is going far to orbit.
Right,
Yeah.
it is going faster and faster and higher to try to ping these satellites off into orbit. And what that means is, you're not floating in orbit. The gravity is almost the same as it is on Earth. So what's happening is it's almost like the second stage is like a giant throwing the satellites as hard as it can, so that they're going 17,000 miles an hour. So you can basically curve around the Earth. They're falling, but they're going so fast that they're actually curving at the same curvature of the Earth.
Well, yeah, and I know the same thing. A lot of people that I think of space as just going up really high and back down, which is a lot of like space tourism kind of things. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to deliver satellites and stuff like that.
They're super fast,
really fast
sideways.
Which is why it's really hard to bring this stage back, because the faster you go, the harder it gets to actually come back as well.
Yes. So, and also, being able to get all of these satellites into that orbit, that's really hard, but then having 11 and getting them to maintain their orbit is also really difficult.
But let's check in actually with John Innsbrucker for another update on how both the second stage burn is going and also how that first stage is looking too.
We're at T plus 7 minutes, 30 seconds. Everything continues to go nominal, as we like to say here at SpaceX. Falcon 9 continues to power its way into orbit. The second stage is building up to 4.7 Gs of acceleration. Now currently we're about 2 minutes away from shutdown of the second stage engine to get into orbit. Engine performance continues to be nominal. I'm looking at the trajectory. We're going right down the middle of the track. That's good news. We're right where we want to be. For the first stage, you heard about the first boost back burn. Coming up in another minute or so, or coming up very shortly, is the entry burn, and then hopefully the landing burn. And you hear the cheering in the background.
The first stage is on its way. Everyone's super excited out here. That burn's going to last about another 30 seconds or so, slowing ourselves down as we get closer and closer to the landing pad.
Yes. Now this stuff is super, super hard. Not only do we have a series of maneuvers that we need to achieve in order to get that rocket back down to the ground, but it's actually a super complicated thing. Like, you did some cool analogy and some cool math to figure this out, right?
I tried to figure out how hard this really is, and so I crunched the numbers with the size of the rocket and the size and how high it's going. What's happening with the first stage is it's like launching a pencil over the Empire State Building, having it reverse, come back down, and land on a shoebox on the ground in a windstorm. That's what's happening.
The critical part.
Yes, and I don't think I could throw a pencil over the Empire State Building and catch
It's
them
insane
in
thing
a
to try to
shoebox.
do, and the crazy thing is we're like 30 seconds away from this getting
From this
down.
crazy maneuver, yeah.
This extremely energetic room is a hush.
Just getting the last burn is going in. Landing legs should be deploying in about 10 seconds or so. That is a view from the landing pad.
That is that first stage
Coming
coming back down to land and kicking up. History in the making, guys.
Stage 1 is landed. OG1, the Falcon
Falcon has landed. Landing operators moving to procedure 11.100, section 3 on LZ1 BNet and recovery net.
Repeat, the Falcon has landed.
By 611 kilometers, flying 37 degrees.
Oh my God!
Oh! That was so awesome! Oh my God. I cannot believe this.
Successfully landed the first stage of our rocket onto landing zone 1. It's standing up there straight and proud and beautiful. As you can tell, everybody here is going absolutely insane. And rightfully so. This is huge.
Huge first time this has happened. Moon here is just extremely exciting. Tim's so happy you can come out and join this.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. This is the most exciting thing I've ever witnessed.
Yeah,
I've never seen a group of people more excited, like freaked out excited, like the looks in those people's eyes here. And I gave someone a jumping hug.
Lots of love around here today.
It's hard to understand what a big moment this is. Every single space agency in the world is watching this. This is, I mean, there's so many quotes of people in space agencies saying, this will never be done. Like 5 or 6 years ago, people saying, it's not possible to land the first stage. And they did it. You guys did it.
It's a huge
Nice going.